Hi, coaches. Appreciate you helping out again this year. I think most of you have been part of our program or at least familiar with it. So rather than trying to get everyone together for a physical meeting, we're just going to do a video this year and hit some highlights. Some basic things I wrote down up here. Hopefully you can see them. Our league consists of 3 divisions. Division 1 is typically your kindergarten, first graders, sometimes a second grader. Division 2 is those middle grades, second to third. And then usually Division 3 is typically 4 through 6, but there is some shifting for family and carpool reasons and stuff. Anyways, what's worked in the past for rim height is just to go 7, 8, and 9 foot across the divisions. And then the ball size, sometimes I have parents ask, what size ball should my kid practice with? So now you'll be able to tell them, for the younger kids in Division 1, it's a 25-inch ball, and then it's the woman's size for the 2 older divisions, which is 28.5. The games, we're going to do 15-minute halves. That's what we've done in the past. And every 5 minutes, we'll stop the play for substitutions. And as a coach, our main objective is to give equal playing time for all kids. So we'll leave that up to your discretion to make sure that's done fairly. Sometimes when you have an odd number of kids, a lot of teams have 7. You may have to have a kid sit out extra 1 week, and then you just have to make sure that you take notes so that next week you don't make them be the one to do that again. So kind of a basic thing.
Do you use the coach's help thing to keep track of it?
Yeah, so there's a coach's notebook, and I use that myself. We can walk out here and look at it. In your coach's material, everyone will get a coach's playbook. This is last year, so it might look a little different this year. And there's someone did a good job of keeping track of their players and when they played. I recommend using this just not just for game day, but for the following game day to look back to make sure that, okay, who needs to sit out an extra time. I just think it's good to have that record. Same with the star distribution form. This one's filled out as an example. Blue star for effort, red star for defense, and we got gold, white, and gray for other things that we want to honor the kids for. So we try to spread those out a little bit too with the kids. Those are done at the end of every game. We'll hand the coach a mic, and they'll get a chance to honor each kid and let the parents clap for each one individually.
And we try to not give the red star of defense to the same kid every single week.
Yeah, and that's why those forms in the back are helpful for playing time and for stars to just spread it out evenly. And you know, we want to give each kid a positive experience, and you know, equal playing time is a priority. Each kid needs to feel important. So want to teach them good basketball skills, but we go beyond that here with our program at Lenia. Most of you are familiar with the colored bracelets. You should look through your coach handbook and look at the rules. We follow them pretty closely. We don't do it exactly all the time, but man-to-man defense is the best setup. Matching kids up with the same color bracelets before each game. That works the best, so there's no zone defense. This ball rack and the buckets will be available at practice times. There's cones if you want to use that for different drills. There's a couple ball pumps because you'll find that they do lose air. There's a Bible in here, and we are going to do something a little differently with the practice devotions. On Monday nights, Coach Beek is going to handle all the mid-practice huddles. If you have an early practice, a 5:30 practice, he'll do it at the last 5 minutes of your practice. If you're in that middle practice time, he'll do it probably sometime in the middle of his practice because Mr. Beek is practicing during that time. And then if you have a late practice, he'll actually have your team get together at the very beginning of their practice. It's just one less thing that you as a coach have to worry about, other than helping hand out practice cards. But basically, Coach Beek will be in charge of that Monday nights. Pastor Schinneberry will do that same thing for Tuesday nights. So one less thing for you to worry about as a coach. Just mainly just make sure we can get your kids quieted down and settled at the right time so that we can have their attention for that. You know, all through the season, I'll make myself available, and Pastor Schinneberry is available if you need to contact us for any questions. And if you haven't coached before, you'll figure out very quickly how things work, and it's really very easy, even if you don't have any basketball experience, coaching experience, to be a coach here for our Upward program. I personally go to myupward.org and download the practice schedules, and I don't use every single drill, but it gives me a structure to go off of, and it gives me ideas for drills to use for my own players, and I find that to be a very useful tool, and I'd encourage it. There's an app that you can download on your phone. I haven't used it myself, but with the way we use our smartphones today, I'm sure you can find that beneficial as well. And you can even keep track of players' time on that and the star distribution, or you can use the book that's in your coach's box, which we're going to make those boxes available at your first practice. So you come here for your first practice, the boxes will be laid out in an obvious spot, and it'll have each kid's name on it. So feel free to wait till then for that. If you're a new coach and you want to get your information, like especially your coach's book, ahead of time, just let one of us know, and you can stop by the church and pick that up ahead of time so you can review the coach's handbook and stuff like that. First practices are going to be, official practices will be January 21st and 22nd. You should have your rosters, and that's Monday and Tuesday night. We are making the gym available the prior week, which is January 14th and 15th, if you wanted to have an additional practice so that you could have 3 practices before the first game. Some coaches like to do that, and that's totally fine. If there's ever bad weather, it's totally up to you. The church will be open. But if you talk to some of your players' parents and you decide that the weather is kind of bad and they'd rather not practice, feel free to cancel it and just let one of us know if you do that. But it's really your discretion as far as that goes. And then for Saturday games, obviously, as a coach, you'll be known right away. We'll let you know right away so you can contact your players if you do have a snow day.
We'll let the coaches know, and then the coaches will contact the players.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. What else should we talk about?
Want to show them how to put the rim down and
Sure.
what it looks like to move it back in case Dave isn't here or something?
Yeah. So for the younger teams, the first 2 games, the rims will be moved up to the yellow and blue lines at both ends to make it just a smaller court for the kids. And to do that, we have a lever right here in the center, and this fold down, and it allows it to roll ahead pretty easily. Lock it back in place. Actually, it locks automatically. I didn't have to do that. And then as far as adjusting the rim, it's just a screw here. Righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. So you loosen that screw and it'll allow. There's it shows you the measurements here as far as where to be. So for the middle division, 8 foot, you'd stop there and tighten it back down. Because there might be times when you have a practice after someone who had it at a different height, then you would like to practice that, so it's probably good for you to know how to do this. You just tighten that back up nice and snug, and that's how that's done.
Okay.
Usually for game days, there's someone available to do that, but maybe for practices you might wanting to know how to do that.
Yep.
As far as the games themselves go, if you coach a Division I team, you're going to have a whistle. You're going to wear a whistle and call your own team's game. So, and for that youngest division, and it only applies for the youngest division, there's no stealing. And I know as competitive parents that seems crazy, but it actually works a lot better at that age to have no stealing. Just teach the kids good defense with their feet. That's the best thing for them, to learn that fundamental. And I mean, there is turnovers. If it goes out of bounds, it goes to their team. But if there's a traveling violation or a double dribble, blow your whistle and correct the child and have them continue play. The ball doesn't get turned over. It's a teaching opportunity, because at that age, it's really all about teaching rather than turning it over to the other team. For the middle division, we call all your normal violations. We won't do any shooting fouls just for the time it takes to line them up. It'll just go out of bounds. And for the oldest team, you call all the violations like normal. And if it's an obvious shooting foul, let's line them up for free throws. And usually those older kids are a little better about being able to do that. So that's kind of a layout for how the games go. The oldest two divisions, we ask the coaches to ref 4 games per year. And I always tell coaches that doesn't mean they have to ref. If they can find a parent or someone else to ref for them those 4 games, that's fine. Just basically, I want each coach to be able to cover refereeing 4 games for the season, which really isn't too big of a commitment. And I always schedule it so that it's right before or after one of your own games.
Okay. So recapping that, if you're on the first division, and an easy way to figure out what division your team is there should be a Roman numeral in front of your team's name. And if you're in the first division, we coach and ref our own games and correct the players. Turnovers are no stealing turnovers, but if it goes the other team after a shot or goes out of bounds, it goes. But we correct the traveling and the double dribbles, and then keep going. And then the older 2 divisions, we have a referee schedule, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Good. Let's see. Good. What else?
Well, let's look at the cheat sheet.
Yeah.
And here, make sure I covered everything.
Oh, I know what we could look at. The beginning of yes, this is where you would be sitting if we all met together, and hopefully this is a better use of your time. I know what we should talk about. At the beginning of the game, the run-through tunnel will be right here, and it will all be set up there. And then we're going to kind of like, as we're getting ready, I've noticed, Ken, that a lot of coaches will get their players and they'll kind of stand them up as they're waiting to be introduced, and they'll kind of put the matchup straps on, players of similar height, right? And then we're going to announce their names and make it as big a deal as possible, and they're going to run through here. And of course, the gym's set up for a meal, but they're going to run through here, and let's let them run all the way across the gym. And somewhere on the far side of the gym will the coaches be standing, and we'll just make a big deal. Let their parents run all the way, see them run all the way across, and then if you haven't yet matched them up, we'll stand them next to each other and get the matchup straps there.
Yeah, I think I've told coaches to stand out on the blue line, and then the players to run out to them. Mm-hmm. The blue line is the one at the far end, and that usually works pretty good.
Okay, and then after the games, you referred to it. They're gonna earn a star of a different color that corresponds to a skill that they did well in. But let's really do our best to get the parents all attention. There's gonna be parents that are coming in and going out. But if we can stop everybody, and also that microphone, hold it real close to your mouth so that you can hear. Some coaches are a little soft-spoken, but put that thing right up in your chin so that you can get it. That'll be good, and the parents usually cooperate and clap and everything if we ask them to help.
Yeah. And I think the more you use this book and this form, or the coaching app, the better you'll feel as a coach, more organized you'll feel. And this is my 7th year coaching, and I know if I forget to write something down from the previous week, I'll almost guarantee you I'll forget it. So it's just helpful to know that you're not giving the same color stars to the kids every week, because if you do, you won't remember it, but those kids will. And I know that much about the kids that I've coached in the past. And then I think the same goes with equal playing time. Just for the sake of the kids and the parents too, that's what we're about, is giving everyone an equal chance to be out on the floor and to enjoy the experience.
Okay, good. What else we got?
Oh,
I know. Keep it positive. Yeah. Everything is really, really positive. The whole experience is really positive. The best coach is not the one that wins all the games. The best coach is the one whose kids have a lot of fun and enjoy the whole experience, and try to find something positive. Obviously we're going to correct some mistakes, but find something positive to encourage them in.
Yeah, and I know I can be competitive as a coach, and of course I like to win, but even if I won every game, for the season, it might be exciting, but there's much more important things than that to teach these kids. So whether you believe it or not, that's the truth of it. In fact, if you won every game, you probably won't be very well liked. But come to the celebration at the end. Our awards program, every kid gets a gift. We have a great entertainment lined up for that night, and your kids will really enjoy it. It's the night of the last game, which is, I believe, towards the end of March. I want to say it's the 24th. It's on the game schedule, which you'll get that at your first practice with your practice boxes to hand out to all the players. But really encourage players and parents to come, and they'll be glad that they did this year. I know that they will.
Yeah, this is the first year I've paid to have professional magician Christian guy come in, and so it should really be a great time. I know if coaches don't go to this, then they really, our numbers go way down real quick. But if coaches go and plan on coming and talk about it throughout the season, and then they kind of push it too, then we'll have a big night at the end of the year.
Yeah. So I appreciate if you can commit to doing that as a coach for that last night. And also, and maybe we can remind you of this at the first practice. And if you could, it's good to have a little team meeting, parent meeting at the end of your first practice. I always try to do that, just to let the parents know who you are and show that you're excited to coach their kids, because you should be if you're committed to being a coach. And we've had trouble in the past with kids running around different areas of the church. We need to contain them into the gym, and there's the room off to the side that we're just in. That's a fine place for parents and kids to be. I'm mostly thinking of the siblings that have to wait during their child's or their brother or sister's practice. So let's be mindful of that. Chances are someone will forget or not realize that, and we'll have to tell them. But if we start with the coaches, and if you guys can help us in that area, that would be very helpful.
Yeah, we had some damage last year done to some sound equipment in the auditorium and the nursery, and if we can keep kids from running through the rest of the church, that would be great. Yeah.
Is there anything else you can think of?
Let's see. Get the boxes. Yeah, so the practice cards are going to be covered, and the green stars are going to be covered by us who are doing the devotionals. Monitor kids. Snow cancellation, up to the coaches. You mentioned that. Keep us informed. Rules for divisions. I think that's it. Hope this saved you guys some time. And you can make comments and stuff in the bottom, but you can just text us. I'll put our phone numbers up here, just so that you guys have it. 269-718. 8496 is mine. And Ken, put your phone number up there. That'd be great. You can text or call us if you have any questions. Yeah. Okay, there you go, guys. Thanks for coaching this year, and should be great.
Yeah, looking forward to another fun season.